Okay, last story for tonight. I said I was going to tell you the story where I got yelled at. Well, here it comes. Now, I hope his kids see this. When Mike would fuss at you and yell at you, he would say, "Why did you do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Why did you do that? I don't understand. Why did you do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Why did you do that?" Okay. Good memories. All right, so I'm in my first, couple of months working with him, and we're traveling all around Richmond, running north side, south side, west end, and um, in the middle of his calls, they would have at the dealerships and going and doing insurance work. Somebody would call up and he would answer the phone himself. He didn't have an answering service, and take the call right then and multitask while he's driving. Drive with his knee and write down, okay, this, that, and the other thing, and then pull the map out because there was no GPS, and pull the map out and navigate. Okay, over here, and he would compound his time. Here's a tip. Okay, if you're a service business and you need to meet a lot of people, you can do this. Here's a tip for you. Somebody needs to meet you. You can pick a spot that's in between where you're going to the next call, that you can schedule someone to meet you there within the next 15, 20 minutes or something, or half an hour while you're going to be there. Listen, I'm going to be over here in the next hour while I'm going to my next call. If you can meet me over here, and then I can do it for you. Okay. So this guy had this damage, and he was in town only for a little while, and he needed Mike to look at the windshield. And we pull up to the old baseball diamond in Richmond, in their old dirt parking lot. And excuse me while I shift my hands here while I'm holding this. And I think it was I can't remember, it was a smaller car. Anyway, it was an inside crack. What does that mean? When a rock hits the windshield, a windshield is comprised of 2 layers of glass and a layer of polybutylate, or it's plastic in the middle. Okay, it's about this thick. About that thick. And then you have a sheet of glass, maybe 1/8 of an inch thick, on the inside and outside layer. Okay. And they are laminated or heat glued to that plastic layer as it's formed, and then it sits into the frame of the car, okay, and becomes part of the frame. Now, when a rock hits the windshield, it typically makes a damage on the outside layer of glass down to the plastic inner layer. And it typically does not go through, or the impact also does not travel through enough to damage the inside layer of glass. But sometimes it happens. And on this particular damage, the rock had hit on the outside, and the crack was a nice clean line, was on the inside. And it was probably a foot long. No, it was maybe a few inches long. Okay, it wasn't that big. Now, at the time, we would use something called capillary action to let, and a needle, okay, like a hypodermic needle. And at that time, Mike was using, Novus had a 2-part epoxy, like a true epoxy, and you would mix a hardener and a resin. I think it was 5-2 was the mixture back then, and we used it for long cracks. we were, back then in 1982, one of the only people in the whole nation that were doing cracks all the way across the windshield. And I teach you how to do that without drilling. So he goes on the inside, he mixes the fluid up, he goes on the inside. Oh, so wait, sorry. How do you tell if it's an inside crack? When you go to the outside of the car and you're looking at the damage, and you see, and you're looking at the windshield and you see the line, you'll see a reflection that it'll look like a shadow, and it should be separated by a tiny little space. There should be a separation between the mirror image of the crack that's on the outside of the layer. But when they're touching and abutted, it's on the inside. So we look at it and goes, it's on the inside. Now, since the windshield is curved, normally on the outside layer, since it's a curved windshield, when you push from the inside, the crack will open up, okay? Because you're pushing from the inside with either a crack spreader, or your father goes in with a cane or with his thumb and is pushing as hard as he can and yelling at you, come on, hurry up, don't go so fast, hurry up, don't go so fast. That's why Larry invented the porta-dad, so you wouldn't have to get yelled at. Anyway, so he's on the inside with the needle, and I'm on the outside, which is a curved glass, and I'm on the outside, and I put the bridge on the outside and screwed the insert down so it's against the glass and pressing, and I'm watching. And he's on the inside, and he's like looking with the needle, and he's up there, and I see it's not filling. And so I come up and I go, bing, 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 bing. Cracks like 12 inches long. There were 8 of them. Pow, 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 out of that thing right away. And Mike's face, he got this look on him, and he comes right up to the glass, right up to the windshield, and he goes, with his lips pursed, looking at me. And then he gets out of the car and he goes, sorry, sir, there's nothing more I can do for you. Come on, Josh, we got to go to the next call. And I get the kit and I put it in the car, and I get in the car. And as I'm putting my seatbelt on, this is what I hear. I'm still laughing. Why did you do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Why did you do that? Josh, why did you do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Why did you do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Why did you do that? I can't believe you did that. Why did you go, and the whole thing went like this. Why did you do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Why did you do that? But Mr. Fine, I was just trying to, don't interrupt me. I'm yelling at you. Why did you do that? All the way to the next call. The rest of the day, every time we get in the car, I can't believe you did that. Why did you do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Why did you do that? You all are allowed to use that when you want to yell at somebody. Okay, from now on, take it from my videos that I'm putting out there. This is the greatest. I got this really great when I want to yell at somebody. Why did you do that? Who told you to do that? Did I tell you to do that? Why did you do that? Good night.